Yeah, before starting the session,
Yeah.
so like when I was practicing this yesterday's profiles, people and groups, I found that self-registration is not an option for me in the left-hand side under the directory. And
Okay.
that is one observation. And also like one more extra option like devices is present. And which was
Actually,
not with you.
Okta keeps on updating their portal. Okay. So by the time I registered, they provided those options. So they keep on upgrading their portal with some extra features or making some enhancements like that. So that is the reason why you might be having some different options. Okay. But it's not like that self-service registration is permanently removed. It's not like that. It will be there, maybe in some other option.
Okay. So
Yeah.
is it like anything only kind of an admin role will have those settings or anything to be changed in the settings?
Everything that you are seeing, it's only available for admins, not for any other person.
Okay.
Okay, because the account that is created for you is a admin account and a developer account. Okay, so all those options are visible only to you. If you will log in as an end user, that also we'll be seeing in one session, then only the option of SSO apps will be visible. They where we can just click and access those applications. Nothing configuration related options will be there.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question?
No. So people and groups only. I created people, few of the people and groups created one group and added one role. And in the profile editor, nothing much, right? We haven't.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah. And the profile sources will be available only when we integrate with some other third-party applications.
Correct. Like any directory, if we will have, then sources will be available.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Rajesh, any questions from your end before we proceed?
Sir, as of now, I'm good, sir, like I was telling. So I'll try to complete that session which you have explained to us yesterday by today. And then if I have any questions, I'll let you know, sir. I'm sorry for that because
No issues. Yeah, you can take your time. Okay.
Sir, one small request, sir. You said you asked us to come up with the VMware, I mean VM with the
Correct.
JD, right? So just let us know when you will start. Just one day before, I'll try to get it, sir, so that we can have a live session. I mean, while you're explaining itself, we'll try to install it, sir.
Let me share my screen and give you idea when we'll be having that session.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, so most probably like after 2-3 days. Okay, so it's good that yeah, as soon as you can get that.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Can you provide us a link in the chat, Anubhav, so that we download and keep it ready?
Yeah, so I can provide you the link. I can guide you as well. Let me guide you here. VM VirtualBox download. Okay, here we have Windows installer. Okay, Oracle VM.
Okay.
Fine. So this is what you need to do. One thing.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one thing which will give you the virtual machine. Inside the virtual machine, we should have a virtual image of Windows Server 2019. Okay, so for that, Windows Server 2019 for local VM. ISO. Let me check the link. Give me a minute. Okay, so the link that I'll share you will route you to this page. Register for your free trial today. Okay, on this page, you just need to provide your basic information. Your company name, you can provide some dummy name as well. That's all fine. And once you will click on download now, it will download one ISO image. Okay, so you keep these two things handy, then I'll tell you the next steps. Fine.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Fine. So yesterday we worked on people, groups, created a group, created a rule. So Jhansi, you have tried creating a rule and
Yeah.
have observed some automation where
Yes,
automatically
yes.
users are getting added.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Fine. So now let's go to the agenda. We'll talk more about other modules related to Okta and see various other options and features which are present within the Okta modules. Customizations is having domain, branding, sign-in page, code editor, error pages, code editor, footer, emails, SMS, and various other things. Okay, now yesterday we were talking about Okta services, single sign-on with Okta. With single sign-on, what we discussed last time is one-click access to the Okta applications. Whenever any end user logged into the Okta portal, then with a single click, that user can access various other applications without entering username and password again and again. So what is the key benefit of SSO is enhanced end user productivity, faster adoption of cloud applications, anytime, anywhere, any device access is possible. Whenever we use single sign-on feature, there is a functionality or there is a plugin called Okta browser plugin that we need to install in our browser. Okay. It automatically recognizes apps or sites assigned to you and logs you in. It auto submits your old password for change password forms. So what it do is, this is a built-in feature provided by Okta to use single sign-on functionality. And whenever we try to access any application for the first time, Okta will give up a pop-up stating that please install Okta browser plugin. So that will be tagged to your browser, like your Chrome browser, it will get tagged. And what is the functionality of this? It will recognize the sites assigned to you and it will help you to log you in over there. And even if suppose you logged in and were having some XYZ password. So after a month of use, you change your password. So what it will do is it auto submits your old password for change password forms. If there is any change, it will again give you a pop-up stating that please update the password over here. So that next time when you will log in through SSO, there will not be any kind of pop-up. Okay, so we'll see all these functionalities as well. What is the benefit of using SSO and what is the role of Okta browser plugin over there? There will be an application integration wizard that will help us to create the applications. So under Okta, we have whenever we are going to applications, and under applications, whenever we are going to create a new application, like create app, suppose if I have selected SAML app, it is giving me the page for creating the SAML integration. Okay. Similarly, for any other type of application, like if I'm creating web application, it will give us a page to create this web-based application. Okay. Similarly, if I will select any out-of-the-box application. Okay. Whenever I'm clicking on create app integration, these are the custom applications which I am integrating. If I will not click here and if I will create or if I will go to browse app catalog, that means whatever out of the box applications available, if I want to use that. Suppose I want to use Workday application. Okay. It is saying that it is a single sign-on application. The integration was created by Okta community users. Okay, various other details related to this functionality. It supports SAML, it supports SWA, is used for provisioning purpose as well, for update operation as well. Okay, so if I want to use this, I'll click on add integration and it's giving the option of creating the application using Workday. Okay, Workday is one of the application that we can use, and that is actually web-based application, and we can just enter its URL and we can integrate it. So what they are saying over here, okay, application integration wizard, any like we created SWA application, SAML, or any application we will create, this type of page will appear. This is again very important thing. Rich policy framework is there for applications within Okta. Whatever applications we are working on, there is a policy framework which is having sign-on rule, password policy. Like if the user is listed anywhere, then allow the access. If the user is assigned this application, then only allow the access. If the user is a member of any particular group, then allow the access. Any type of policy we can create as per the need, like password related policy, IP related policy, or MFA we can have. Okay, so all these things we will be discussing one by one and what are the various options and features inside that we'll be discussing. MFA is next option, next feature that we have under MFA, where here we have different types of MFA features. Let me show you within Okta. Okay, so different types of multi-factor authentication. So if you're not aware that what is MFA, then MFA is a kind of authentication which is added, which is having the extra layer of security or extra layer of authentication. Like normally what we used to do for authentication purpose, we provide username and password. But through MFA, what we can do is, apart from username and password, we can have one layer of authentication, one more layer of authentication through OTP based, SMS based, or token based, any type. So there are different options available. Okta Verify, SMS authentication, Google authentication. Is there anything that you have already heard in the past from here?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Jhansi, from
Yeah.
your end,
Yeah.
have
Yes.
you heard?
Yes.
Like Google Authenticator, SMS based authentication is kind of OTP based only. Email
Right.
authentication over email will get some verification code. Okay. So these types of features that we can have. So we will be discussing that as well. Provisioning. So provisioning is one of the very important feature for any IAM product, not only for Okta. It strengthens the security, increase the productivity, and reduce the IT cost. Why? Because whenever any user is getting created in the organization, then he or she needs to have some access, some default access, some access where he or she wants to raise a request, and the account gets provisioned to those target applications, and that person will be able to access those applications. And this can also be automated. User management feature is there. As we have seen, we have people option where we can have a whole directory of the users, bunch of users we can create. Fast and simple user provisioning is there. When we will integrate Active Directory, you will see the automated provisioning, which is very easy. Like whenever we are creating the user, it's getting provisioned to Active Directory instantly. Deprovisioning. What is deprovisioning? Can anyone tell me?
I mean, if an application
Revoking the access.
Hmm? Yeah, you can try one by one.
yeah, please, Jansi, go ahead. Yeah.
I was saying it's revoking the access of
It's
boarding the
revoking.
users.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah. Rajesh, from your end?
Yeah, yes. If a user got is provisioned with an application, if so deprovisioning is we are removing those user from that application. So
Remove it.
that is what we mean by deprovisioning.
Correct. So as a part of deprovisioning process, there are two things. Either we will delete that user, that means removing that user from that application, or we can disable the user. Correct. So admin deactivates or deletes the user in AD, suppose. Okay. What admin did, deactivates or delete the user in AD. Okta automatically deactivate user and auto deprovision all the applications. Okay. Suppose AD is the source of truth. And from source of truth, what Okta receives is that the account is deleted. In Okta, what Okta will do, it will automatically deactivate the user and auto deprovision all the other applications. And Okta will send notification, email, creates the deprovisioning task list. Admin can still obtain complete audit trail. So whatever activities will get performed can be audited. Okay, so deprovisioning is definitely very, very important because we have provisioning, so we should have deprovisioning feature as well. And it should not be like that deprovisioning should only be manual. It should also be automatic because otherwise there will be a lot of activities that we need to perform manually. So that will reduce, that will increase the cost, increase the effort. So that will not be much more efficient. So everything should be automated in the environment.
Okay. So automated in the sense how we can automate the deprovisioning process usually.
automated the deprovisioning. Suppose if I will talk about the architecture. Okay. Suppose HR is there. HR feeded the users on daily basis. On daily basis, user is coming. How it is coming? Because I have scheduled one task in the IM portal, any IM product, and that task is pulling the users on daily basis. Suppose every morning 7 a.m. it's running and it's pulling all the new users for the day. Okay. So this is onboarding automation. Now what happens is HR is having the record like employee ID, first name, last name, email, comma, status. Okay. And status is coming as active for the users. That's fine. Now one day what happened is for one of the user, HR provided the status as inactive. And in my IM product, I have written a rule or a condition where I have mentioned that if the status of user was active and it is changed to inactive, then trigger the leaver workflow or the offboarding workflow. Okay, or offboarding process. In that case, what will happen in the offboarding process? I will write that whatever applications user is having, take that application and disable those. So what IAM system will do, disable those applications automatically. This is one-time logic that I have to write, but everything will be taken care by the IAM product going forward.
Yeah, got
Got
it.
it?
Got it. I mean, you're saying about yesterday about the groups. If the condition matches, it should fall
Correct.
into the testing part of the group.
Right.
With the same pattern, we'll decommission the users. I mean,
Yeah, with the
deprovision.
same way we can, yeah,
Yeah.
deprovision as
Okay.
well.
Okay. Okay.
That's right. Okay, so we can integrate Okta with on-premise application. What do you understand by on-prem applications? Can you guys give a try?
Like the servers are the private servers and which are owned by that particular company or an person. They're
On-prem is
not on
something
cloud.
that is, yeah, the servers which are not on cloud, physical servers, physical architecture, wherever it is, then we can refer to that as on-prem. And if it is hosted on cloud, then we can mention or quote it that as the cloud-based application. Like Okta is a cloud-based application. Okay. So we can integrate Okta with any on-prem application as well. Okay. So like going forward, we will integrate with Active Directory. So Active Directory, that's what I am saying. Create one VM, have Windows Server, install AD inside that. So that is something we are doing physically, right? So we will be establishing a physical setup of Active Directory, and then we will integrate Okta with Active Directory. So that is a on-prem integration, application integration. Okay. And whenever we have on-prem application integration, usually like with Active Directory or any other directory, we require some agent in between. Like we will have AD agent that will help us to communicate between Okta and Active Directory. Okay, that's what they have written below. Provisioning Okta on-prem provisioning agent. Okay, so there will be agent as well for that. On-prem provisioning basic architecture. So here we have Okta. In between we have provisioning agent, and then we have target applications like any SCIM support, Oracle, SQL Server, or any custom application. Okay, it's the same architecture as AD agent architecture. Workday driven identity lifecycle. Have you used Workday or any, are you familiar with what is Workday?
Yes, I'm currently using Workday.
Okay, so Workday for what purpose we are using? Can you give some
Uh,
overview?
it's for like all the internal trainings will be tracked there and how many leaves are entitled. All the leave balance summary will be there and
So we can
compensation
refer to it
summary.
as a HR portal.
Yeah.
Here in my diagram, whenever I'm saying we are talking about HR. HR is feeding this, feeding that. So Workday is one of the HR application, correct? So it can
Correct.
be treated as a source of truth as well. So if you
Yes.
want to integrate Okta with Workday, we can have the integration in place. And it will help to provide the real-time updates to and from Workday. It supports joiner, mover, lever lifecycle. Are you now familiar with what is joiner, mover, and lever?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. So Okta advanced functionality built directly into Workday. So Okta has a tie-up. Okta has a out-of-the-box connector for Workday where we can have integration and we can pull the data, user data on daily basis, even real-time push and pull is possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Universal directory. Universal directory enables the rich integrations, extensible user profiles, attribute mappings, transformations, import or update from AD, Okta you can say Okta integration network, enhancements like Office 365, on-prem provisioning, HR-driven IT provisioning. So everything related to the directories is possible with the help of Universal Directory. Yesterday within our portal under directory, learn about Universal Directory. Universal Directory allows you to store employees, partner, and customer profiles in Okta, generating a user-based single source of truth. Okay, so whatever user profiles and profile editors that we have, whatever we are managing as the attributes, will be governed by the Universal Directory. And another great thing within Okta is that if you want to go through some documentation, if you want to go through more about that, there are in various places you will see there are hyperlinks like go to documentation. They'll provide you documentation, much more detailed explanation. Okay, if you want to explore, there is a good option. Usually other products won't provide this type of feature, right? So here at every place you will see some of the other links available, help feature available to provide you more details.
How it is different from the normal AD?
It's not something which is, you can say a separate module. Okay, it's only a place where they are allowing you to manage the profiles or manage the attributes of the users. Okay. It's not something that is a separate product or a separate module where you are storing the users. Okay. Only thing is you can manage the customers, employees, and different types of users profile here inside this universal directory. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So there is one terminology that is used like OPP agent. OPP agent means Okta on-prem provisioning agent. Okay. On-prem provisioning agent means whenever you want to integrate Okta with any on-premises application, you can use that OPP agent. This agent will be provided by Okta. If you want to integrate Okta with Active Directory, they will give you one installer. They will provide you a link from where you can download that agent and then you can utilize that. Only thing is that what they are trying to say is whenever you are integrating, you should have one agent in place. Okay. And there should be proper mappings. That's what Rajesh yesterday was mentioning, that whenever we push anything from Okta to Active Directory, there should be proper mappings in place. That first name, suppose you created a user in Okta. Okay. And the user first name is something, last name is something, email address, manager, department. But when now you are integrating with Active Directory and you want to push those first name, last name, and everything to Active Directory, you have to create one mapping. attribute mapping, we can say, wherein you have to mention that first name of Okta should go inside first name of Active Directory. Last name of Okta should go inside last name. So in Active Directory, last name is known as SN, that is surname. So last name should be mapped with SN attribute. Email address should be mapped with mail attribute. Like that, whatever attribute, actual attribute names will be there in Active Directory. We have to perform those mappings. So that we'll see in the integrations. This is HR driven IT provisioning through the Workday. Okay, so this is another important thing, complete directory for external users, Okta for all data on a user. So here we have Okta. Now we have MLive portal, Bellagio site, MGM Grand site. They want to pull these information into their portal. Okay, that means from outside of Okta, if I want to pull some details of Okta, what I can do is I can use Okta APIs. So this is what they have used over here. And we will see a lot of APIs going forward in one of the session, that how we can utilize those APIs, how we can pull that information. Suppose you're creating one site and you are creating one portal, and where you want the information to be fetched from Okta, because Okta is managing your identities. So in your portal, like you're creating a Java based application, what you will do is you will write a code to pull that information from Okta through the Okta APIs. Have you used any REST API calls where we are pulling the information through the get method, and we are getting the response in the form of JSON? Anything that you have used or you have seen?
Yeah, yes.
Right. Okay. So that those things we'll be seeing when we'll talk about the Okta APIs.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, we will be using the out-of-the-box APIs which Okta has provided, and then we
Correct.
will tune that according to the requirement. Like,
Yeah,
say
that's
if
right.
these are the portals, or
Correct.
if there is any other portal, we'll map accordingly. I mean, we'll
Correct.
tweak.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
yeah.
Then we have this directory integration. It's important for us to understand this architecture for any on-prem integration. It's a generic one where we have Okta, then we have Active Directory. In between, we have Okta agent, and usually in the organization, we have the firewall as well, right? So Okta will be there on the cloud. We are aware now that Okta is hosted on cloud. You guys got the Okta application access, right? You have a separate tenant. You have a unique web URL provided to you. Within the cloud, you are hitting at one single place and you are able to access Okta. Whatever work you will do on daily basis, it's getting stored over there, right? Now you want to communicate from cloud to something which is on premise. So in that case, one agent needs to be installed. On premise agent should be there, that will help you to communicate from Okta with Active Directory. Okay, and usually as a best practice, we should have a firewall in place in between cloud and anything outside the world. You can say outside that application, there should be a firewall that will have some inbound and outbound rules that will evaluate whether the request which is coming to Okta is authenticated, which is proper or not. That is something, it's not in our scope, but yeah, it is a part of our architecture. And apart from this, definitely what we will be focusing on is the agent and the Active Directory. Okay, now we'll dig further in the portal. Okay, so first of all, what I am touching currently is security general. Security general, it talks about the notification emails. It's just the miscellaneous settings that you can assume. New sign-on notification email, password change notification email, MFA enrolled notification email. So all those notifications, if you want to enable, you can enable. That means new sign-on notification email. If I will enable, that means what will happen? Any new singles or any new sign-on that will happen in the system will receive an email. Any password change that happen in the system will get an email. MFA enrolled, if anybody will enroll to MFA, will get an email. So those types of general settings are there. Another thing, remember B checkbox on sign in page. If you will see in your login page, you will see remember me option is there. So that is also configurable. If you want to disable it, you can. Activation emails are valid for 7 days. This is also configurable. Okay. It is easily configurable in other portals. IAM products, you will see you need to write lengthy code, or if it is not feasible, also there are some products where they have something which is pre-decided. So everything here is configurable and in very easy way. Activation emails are valid for 7 days by default. Enforce device binding for creating sessions. Enabled for Okta, enabled for all identity providers and not enabled. By default, it's not enabled. What is enforced device binding for creating sessions? Let's see. For compatibility purpose, you can disable device binding, but Okta recommend against it. If you disable the setting, Okta will bypass the check that ensures state tokens are redeemed only by the actor who initiated the authentication flow. So device binding will depend on the platform that you are using, which device you are using for accessing Okta. Okay. So this is a feature that is by default disabled. Username match criteria on sign-on. Allow short match entire username. So that is also possible that username while signing in, what type of username you are allowing. Users can view recent activity enabled. Similarly, various other sign-on options are there related to Okta. Okay, another threat insight, which is newly added feature, which is important for us to understand. Authentication requests from IPs exhibiting suspicious behaviors that suggest malicious activity can be logged in the system log. Yesterday, I showed you system logs and reports. In the system logs, we can see any activity that is getting performed, and Okta has its own intelligence through which it can identify whether that activity is a suspicious activity or not. Okay, and on the basis of that, you can block the user as well, so that that user will not be able to access Okta portal. Log the authentication attempts from malicious IPs. And if you want to have some exceptions in place, zones, you can exempt it. Zones, how you will create, there is another option under inside the networks, we can create zones. Let me show you. Whenever we'll create zones, those we can tag it over here, add zones. Okay, so whatever zones we will create, if we want to exempt any zone from this threat insights, then we can exempt that as well. So these are some general settings that we have. Then we have health insight. These are the recommendations based on a live audit of the security settings of your organization. Okay, now this is again an intelligent feature provided by Okta to admin that it will give you the recommendations from his end. Threat insight is not enabled to block suspicious IPs. Okay, it's saying that it's better to enable threat insight so that any suspicious activities that is getting performed will be blocked. Password change notification is disabled. New sign-on notification is disabled. So it's giving the security impact high impact. So it is recommending that better go to settings and enable those features. password policies for 4 policies are weak. So I have created password policies in the past, and it is saying that for 4 of the password policies are weak. So let me go to that and I'll show you. So you can see I have created 4 password policy. One is default one, and there are 3 more. So the password policy that I have set below, it is saying that it is recommending that it's weak. Take the required action. Okay. So health insight is all about the health of the system. Along with the health insights, it's giving us the recommendation to do something in order to take some corrections in the system. So it is useful feature for an administrator of Okta. Is that clear? Any questions? Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, yes, and no questions for now.
Okay.
Seems Rajesh got dropped off.
Oh, okay. Let me check. You can join again. Okay, he joined. Rajesh, are you back?
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay. You heard about health insight or you want me to repeat?
No, health insight is fine, sir. And you were saying about this one. I mean, password policies in health
Mhm.
insight. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So password policies, I was mentioning that it is suggesting me that your 4 password policies are weak. So if I will go to authentication, then under authentication, I will see there are password policies for me. Okay, I have
Okay,
created 4 password policy,
policies. Okay.
and these policies are here actually, like lowercase letter, uppercase letter. I'll show you soon in more detail. So what it is saying that whatever policies that you have created are weak. Take the required action.
Right. Okay. So, I mean,
Okay.
the password is weak. In terms, it is saying is passwords are weak. You have to take action on it.
Yeah, it's saying password policy
Policy.
for
Okay.
4 policies are weak.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. It's not only recommending me as an individual, it's recommending me for whole organization behalf.
Okay.
Okay. It's a
Okay.
health insight for the whole organization.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Then now we'll talk about authentication, which is having 2 most important things over here. One is the password and another is sign on. So password policy, if you want to create, you can create from here. And if you want to create sign on policy, you can create from here. I think it's better if I will give you overview from the current portal with some changes, because you may face difficulty in navigation. Your current, because Okta has made some recent changes, so some navigation differences will be there. Under security, we are talking currently, and general we talked, health insights we already talked. Let me just check. Yes, general all done, health insight done. Authenticators. See, in my portal, we have authentication, and under authentication, we have password policy and sign on policy. But if you will check in your portal, Okta portal, you will see somewhat difference. You will see that you have authenticators and authentication policy different. Okay. Under authentication policies, you will see an option of adding a policy like this. And under authenticators, you will see setup of authenticators. What type of authenticator you want to set up. Okay. Can you just once check and see if it is matching with yours Okta portal?
Yeah.
Checked.
Chicken. Credentials are not working.
Yeah.
You have the feature options like this, right? General, health insight, authenticators, and authentication policies.
Yes, we have.
Correct.
Yeah,
Fine.
yes, sir. Yeah.
So we'll go through from here. It will make you much more easy. Okay, so authenticators, we have setup and enrollment. So whenever we talk about authenticator, it's something which is known as multi-factor authentication. Okay, so whatever authentication you have as a basic authentication, it's username and password. Other type of authenticator is MFA. And if we'll click on add authenticator, it's giving us those options which I was showing you a few minutes back. Custom authenticator, email, FIDO2, Google Authenticator, IDP Authenticator, Okta Verify, on-prem. Okay. In our practice, for our practice purpose, what we will do is we will enable this Okta Verify. If we will enable Okta Verify, what happens is it's used for authentication. We can have one-time password, push notification, and Okta FastPass. And there are certain other options that users can verify with one-time password, push notification, and Okta FastPass. So suppose if I will enable push notification, number challenge will come. Number challenge for Okta Verify. Only for high risky sign-in attempts or all push challenges, we have to mention. These are some configurations that we need to let Okta know that what type of configurations we want. Number challenge for Okta Verify, or only for high risk attempts or all push challenges. Suppose I have done this. Now Okta Verify is also added under actions. If you want to make any change, you can make it. So this is something, whatever setup we are doing by default, email set MFA, password MFA, and security question MFA is coming. Okay. This is just the configuration, but another tab that is visible to you, that is enrollment, which is important. Enrollment will decide that what type of MFA you are going to use. Manage authenticator availability and enrollment. This is a default policy that we have. Okay. In the default policy, you will see we have authenticators required as a password and optional as Okta Verify. What if I will do edit, and for Okta Verify, now Okta Verify is visible to me because in the first tab, I have enabled Okta Verify and I am marking it as required. Okay. I am marking it as required. Update the policy. Policy is updated. Everything is done. And what will happen now? If I will log out, what type of policy is this? Default policy applies in all situation if no other policy applies, and it is for everyone. Okay. And what is this default rule? If user IP is anywhere, enrollment is allowed if required authenticators are missing. Okay. Now what I will do is I will log out. Usually these types of policies, what we do is we apply on the first sign-in attempt as well. Like whenever we are logging in for the first time, we can have those enabled. These types of options are also possible. Like it's currently allowing me. Okay. Now what I will do is I'll create one user. Test user1 abc.com. Activate now. I'll set password. So I'll copy this test user1. And so this user I have created test user1 and is an active user. Okay. This is an active user. Now what I will do is I will take this URL. Going to the login page, test user1 @abc.com. Entering the password. Go to home page. I hit the link of admin. So that's why it's saying not allowed. Because this is a normal end user, not an admin. We should log in with, let me just remove admin from here. Now this allowed me inside the portal, and this is the view of end user. Now you can visualize the difference between a admin and the end user. Okay, for admin, the view was different, and for end user, this is the view. I cannot go to anywhere. On the left side, I cannot see those configuration and those settings available. Fine. Can you observe the difference between admin and a normal end user?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, now coming to the enrollment part, where we have authenticators. And here in the authenticators, what we did is we created one Okta verify. In the enrollment, what we mentioned is that in the default policy for everyone, we have marked authenticators required as Okta verify and password. Now, in the authentication policies section, we have these default policies available. And if you want to see default policy, This is the default policy having nothing. There is one rule. If any request, then access is allowed. Your organization authenticator satisfy this requirement. So what I will do is I'll edit this. Any one factor, any two factor types. Your organization authenticator that satisfy this requirement, knowledge, biometrics, factor type, password, and additional factor type, Okta verify. Okay, this is what I have done just now. I will save it. Now, what my rule says for authentication policy, your organization's authenticators that satisfy this requirement, that is password and Okta verify, then only authenticate the user. And this is enabled already, and this is a default policy. Okay. And under here, if you'll see, if you want to edit the name, if you want to clone the policy, merge the duplicate policy or delete the policy, you are allowed to do that. So here I have my default policy created. Now what I will do is I'll go back, sign out. Currently it's not asking. Let me close the browser and log in again. In case of SSO based products, it's this cache and user sessions plays very important role. So we must be very much familiar whenever there are certain issues with respect to single sign-on or any type of settings which are not reflecting. It's better to try in your private window in incognito mode. Test user one at the rate abc.com. Now for me, for this user, it's allowing. I will log in with another user. Still MFA is not applied, which means we have one more option that needs to be enabled. Okta admin console application, one factor access. Check. In the old portal, there are other ways to set this policy. And in this new portal, they have different ways. I will add a policy. Suppose I am adding one policy, test policy. Here I can add a rule. catch-all rule and a rule. Test rule. If user type is any user type, and if user membership include any group, and user is any user, device platform is any platform, user's IP is any IP, and the risk is any. The following custom expression is true. If you want to write, you can write. Then what to happen? Access is allowed after successful authentication, and user must authenticate with password IDP plus another factor. Okay, so password IDP plus another factor is written, and they have mentioned about the authentication scenarios that we can discuss later. But here, what we are saying, access is allowed and user must authenticate with password IDP plus another factor, and possession factor constraints are exclude phone number and email authenticator, require user interaction. That is all fine. Your organization authenticators that satisfy this requirement. So last time what I used was any two factor types. And this time I am using any one factor type or IDP.
I mean, another factor means we have to configure that feature. I mean, how
Yeah, factor we have already configured that. We have mentioned that Okta verify is one more factor, right? From the authenticators, we have enabled that option, right? So now what I am saying, password plus another factor. Prompt for password authentication every time, and prompt for all other factors of authentication every time. So now we have created this custom policy. This is created, everything is enabled. That's all. And it should be visible over here. Test policy we have. Okay, now let me go back to this. Sign out. Some issue is still there. Whatever options they have changed recently, some changes are done. Test user. No, it's still not reflecting. That means still something is missed. Maybe default policy we can change once. We were having a rule. Edit. And any one factor, two factor times. Password plus another factor every time. What should happen is whenever we log in and provide our password, it should give the second, it should ask for second MFA. That means it should ask for Okta verify. No. What I will do is I'll give a try because there are certain options changed that has happened. But let me show you from the old environment. Do you guys have 2 more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
So can we take it tomorrow, sir? I have a call now.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Then
Fine.
I'll show you tomorrow because from the old environment I thought of
Sure,
showing you.
sure. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so then we'll take it up tomorrow, this part. Okay, for now you can explore whatever options we have discussed today and we can take it up tomorrow. Okay,
Thank you.
fine then. Thanks, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you.